AARP chat. Today's conversation is all about how to save in your utilities this season. We'll go over tips and programs available that can help lower your utility costs. To help us with today's discussion is Nora Gutierrez, who is a local government and community liaison with the California Public Utilities Commission, also known as a CPUC. And Nora has more than 15 years of experience working in state and local government, specializing in community building and engagement. But, hola, bienvenida, Nora. But before I turn over the program over to you, I'd like to launch a poll, which we usually do to get to know all of you a little better. So if you don't mind, please, here's a poll. Which utility do you spend the most on? A, electricity, B, water, C, gas, D, internet cable, or other. So please let us know. Let's see. So we have some results coming in. Just quick question. Which utility do you spend the most on? Electricity, water, A, electricity, B, water, C, gas, D, cable, internet, or other. All right, we're gonna go ahead and end the poll, and let me share the results. Electricity being the number one. And it's interesting that gas is the lowest. So very cool. Thank you all for joining, and thank you for sharing. And we have our expert with us, Nora Gutierrez, but she's going to be giving us lots of information. Don't worry if there's anything that you missed today. This session is being recorded, so you can watch it again later if there's anything that you missed. All right. So now I'll turn over the program over to Nora.
Thank you, Patricia, and thank you, the AARP family, for including me in this very important conversation. I do have a small presentation that I'm going to share to give a small overview about the CPUC and some of our consumer programs. But thank you so much for that poll. It really, highlights the work that we do, and it's always, good information for us to take back to the commission that these are the important issues that people are feeling. So let me set up my screen. Give me a quick second, and I'm going to share. Let me just find the screen. Got it. And can you see my screen? Got it. And I'm sorry, I woke up with a little bug in my throat this morning, but okay, let me go ahead.
It's a season for it.
I know, right? So let me go ahead and start. So again, it's a pleasure to join you here today. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Nora Gutierrez, and I serve as a local government and community liaison with the CPUC. Again, I'm going to do a quick overview of the CPUC and kind of share some of the programs that are available at the CPUC. As you may or may not know, the CPUC is a California state agency headquartered in San Francisco with offices in Sacramento and Los Angeles. The commission is composed of 5 commissioners that are appointed by the governor and approved by the state senate for a term of 6 years. Here's a picture of all of them. Our chair is currently Alice Reynolds, Darcy Hoke, John Reynolds, Karen Douglas, and our newest appointee is Matthew Baker. They meet once a month publicly in San Francisco and also make it to other areas around the state. So look out for those dates. You can attend online, via phone, or in person. The CPC regulates privately owned electric, natural gas, telecommunications, water, railroad, rail transit, and passenger transportation companies, as well as video franchises. It's a lot, I know. So this is just another listing of the items we regulate. So companies such as Edison, PG&E, SoCal Gas, Union Pacific, Lyft, Waymo is another thing that just got added recently with autonomous vehicles. How do we regulate? The CPC regulates through proceedings to produce new policies, rates, rules, decisions, and programs. The CPC is both an executive and quasi-legislative agency in that we both implement and interpret the Public Utilities Code, which means that we can apply fines and legal sanctions for violations from any of the entities that we regulate. So the process is basically very legalistic and bureaucratic. So if you're interested in learning more about this, I'm open to having another session where we can discuss this process. The CPUC has 5 major divisions. I will list them here, but it's the Energy Division, the Consumer Protection and Enforcement Division, the External Affairs Division, a Communications Division, and the Administrative Law Judge Division, which manages a lot of our formal filings, facilitates dispute and resolutions, and conducts hearings. As mentioned earlier, I am from the External Affairs Division, Business and Community Outreach Team. I am one of 6 liaisons, which is our primary goal is to engage local governments, community-based organizations, and other stakeholders in the decision-making of the CPUC. One of the ways that we do this is through informational webinars or presentations like this one that provide an opportunity to educate and inform stakeholders about CPUC policies, programs, and processes. As mentioned, another key area of the External Affairs Division is the Consumer Affairs branch. And this is probably the branch that is probably of most importance to you since it does assist, is there to assist consumers with information as well as to facilitate any communications with the utilities and also resolve any problems and assist in filing any complaints. This is just a quick illustration of the complaint process of the CPUC. We obviously ask that you contact the utility to try to resolve the issue. If that doesn't work out, then we suggest you call the Consumer Affairs branch and they can assist you. And if that's not resolves your issue, then we can go over to file a formal complaint. Again, this is just a listing of how you can contact the Consumer Affairs branch. You can reach us online, by phone, by fax, believe it or not, still by fax, and mail. And now I will move on to some of our consumer programs. This is a slide just listing the various programs that I will go over in my next slide. And then this is just an illustration of the investor-owned utilities territory. We have San Diego Gas and Electric, who covers the southernmost part of the state. We have SCE, Southern California Edison, and Pacific Gas and Electric in the north. And then Pacific Corp is a small entity in the north, and then Central Valley, we have a small entity, Bear Valley Electric Service. So as you can see, we have a wide range of programs for our homeowners, but also renters that are available. The 2 most popular programs that you may have heard of is the CARE program and the FAIR program. So the CARE program offers discounts on your electricity bill as well as your gas bill, and the discounts range from 30% to 35%. There's also the FARA program, which is a Family Electric Rate Assistance Program. And this is for individuals that may not qualify for the CARE program. And this offers an 18% discount on your electricity bill. We also have the ESA program, which is mostly a weatherization program. So this program will help you do things such as attic insulation, weather stripping, as well as provide energy efficient appliances to your home. So just remember when you are looking to, find energy efficient appliances, be sure to contact your utility. Sometimes they do have rebates that'll help you in saving money before you purchase some of those products. And then there's also LIHEAP, which is a low-income home energy assistance program. And this assists individuals with heating or cooling bills. This is a one-time program or one-time payment program. And this is being administered by the State Community Services Department. So you can reach out to them or you can reach out to your utility and they can guide you through the process on how to apply for this. And then there's also the medical baseline program. This is a program for consumers who rely on life support equipment or those who have life-threatening illnesses or compromised immune systems. This helps with your natural gas and electricity bills. So the utilities use their lowest residential rate for billing. So again, you reach out to your utility for to apply for this if you need it. And then we also have the California Lifeline program, which helps households with discounts on home phone and cell phone programs. Again, these are also income qualified programs. There's also a program for the deaf and disabled that can access some of these discounts. And then also to note, the water companies also have programs that they offer to consumers, either with bill assistance or any type of assistance that can maybe help you reduce your water cost. So this is just a list of some of the agencies that we regulate that are in the state of California. So companies such as Golden State Water, Liberty Utilities, San Gabriel Valley Water, Suburban Water. These are just some of the agencies. So reaching out to them, you can find out on their bill assistance programs if you're having problem paying your bill when it comes to your water bill. And then the next couple of slides are going to be programs that are available to multifamily units as well as renters. So the first one has to do with solar. There's a SOMA program that gives rebates for multiple housing projects. So if somebody's building an affordable housing unit, there's a program that will offer rebates to install solar, and then it'll pass on the savings to the tenants that live there. So if you would like more information on that, calsoma.org will provide that and how to apply. And then there's also the self-generation incentive program. This is for homeowners that are interested in battery storage. So this would be helpful when there's blackouts or there's power outages or wildfires. This is something that can be enhance your resiliency during these extreme events. And these are most available at all. The utilities have them. And then we have the multifamily energy savings program, which is designed to deliver cost-effective energy efficiency as well as weatherization program. So this is similar to the ESA program, but this is available to tenants, to renters at the multifamily housing. So this program, you can access it by going to the portal. And you can look this up in our website as well. And then another program that I want to bring your attention to, and it just came out in November. This is something that is being managed by the California Energy Commission. It's called the HERA program. And this is part of the Federal Inflation Reduction Act, which created programs across the country for energy efficiency. So this will help single family homes. It's also available for multifamily homes. So this helps with heating and cooling. So there's rebates between $4,000 and $8,000 to upgrade your heat pumps for air heating and cooling. And so that kind of concludes the overview of the CPUC consumer programs. I know that this is a lot of information in a very short period. So definitely you can find more information on our website, or you can always reach out to your local government liaison for help. My next slide is just a list of our important websites. Our docket card lists a lot of our proceedings and rules and regulations. You can also subscribe to our service list and get updated on any of the issues that you're interested in. I encourage you to visit our daily calendar for any events or activities that are happening throughout the state, or even online webinars like these. We also produce those. Again, this is our website, cpuc.ca.gov. And then we also have the Public Advisor's Office, which assist individuals on information on how to participate in public hearings or to be more involved with the CPUC. And lastly, I'm going to just share a slide with the names of our different liaisons and our contact information. And I definitely want to thank you again for having me here today to share this information with you all. And I will stop sharing and continue the conversation.
Nora, thank you so much. Didn't I tell you, right? Don't worry. if you miss any of the information, because this session is being recorded, so you can later watch the video later on. But for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Patricia Perez. I serve as AARP California State President Emeritus, and you just heard from Nora Gutierrez. She's, let's see, Local Government and Community Liaison with the California Public Utilities Commission, the CPUC. And obviously, you know now that she's a wealth of information. And these Let's Talk Dinero is really that. We just talk. This is our charla. This is your chance to ask questions. So if you have any questions for Nora, please just, type them in the chat and we'll get through as many as possible. With AARP, we're here to help you keep and save your money. So if you have any questions on any of the programs, please just, write them on the chat. But I'm going to start with my first one with Nora. I really just want to know, we're talking about how to save money and with utilities. My question is about how the CPUC works with the utilities to help ensure fair pricing and prevent these, what I call unnecessary rate increases.
Got it. So thank you, Patricia, for that question. So at the CPUC, we obviously aim to balance the needs of the utility companies while maintaining the infrastructure and ensuring that the rates are both fair and sufficient to maintain reliable utility services. So one of the things that we do to kind of ensure that, our rates aren't going up for every little thing that happens in the state. Before any utility can enact any rate change, they must go through a formal proceeding with the PUC. So this includes a public participation hearing where consumers and stakeholders can voice their concerns, and they're called general rate cases. So like I said earlier, a general rate case is a very comprehensive review of the process. Utilities, they have to submit a report that determines what they're asking for. It's an application. They have to submit it every 4 years. So it includes obviously an application. CPUC reviews it. There's public participation. The administrative law judges work with the utilities and the commission, and then the commission issues a proposed decision. So in every step of the way, there's opportunity for stakeholders to voice concerns. And there's always like mechanisms where we're checking to ensure that rates are fair and appropriate for whatever the utility is requesting.
So we can just go online and check and see what is happening. If we want to voice our opinion, you would have information on how we can submit a letter, email, anything like that.
Yeah, and all these general rate applications are available in the slide that I showed with the docket. You can look them up there, and they're always there, and it lists everything the utility is asking for, and there's an opportunity where you can submit comments for that proceeding.
Okay. Because, I mean, obviously for, some of us who are on fixed incomes, right? Any changes, impacts, what we do. So we just want to make sure that the CPUC, is watching out for us. I also want to know, how are you, like holding utilities companies accountable for their service, for making sure that the service is affordable and reliable, that especially as we're coming into the winter months.
Yeah, like you said earlier, we definitely want to hear from the consumers. We want to hear what are the challenges, how are rates affecting them. So this is something that the commission and the commissioners need to hear. So obviously attending public hearings when these are up for a vote or up for review, it's important. So one of the ways that the CPUC ensures that the utilities are complying with not only our state laws, but our regulations is that we do have a utility audits branch. So this branch does auditing, professional auditing, to make sure that there's transparency and accountability from the utilities, we also do compliance monitoring. So we look at what the utilities are doing. We check on the any directives that we've given them. Are they complying? Are they providing the best service to customers? And then the commission also has the Public Advocates Office. So this office works with customers and constituents and works on behalf of the constituents to monitor any proceeding at the CPUC level. So they're kind of like the advocate for the public. So it's important to also connect with them to help kind of voice those concerns. And lastly, again, it has to go through a whole process. There's always opportunity to hear from the consumers. It's not something that just comes to us and we just do a check off. There's those other mechanisms to ensure that, utilities are are providing the reliable service and are being affordable for our consumers.
Thank you. Nora, in your presentation, you talked about the solar panel programs. Are solar panels truly worth the investment? I know that there was a big push, years back to try to get all homeowners to install solar panels. Is that really worth the investment? Like, what is the typical cost savings for a home?
Um, it's a very tricky process to explain, but it just depends on how much solar you're generating. And it's usually working with talking to your utility about what your needs are and making an assessment of what it is. But in the long run, it is a savings to consumers. Is just finding out the specifics of your home, the size, how many panels are you going to utilize? Is all the power generated going to go exactly to your home? Are you putting it back to the grid? I know when you install the solar panels, there is a credit that goes to your bill. So there is some savings, but again, contacting our website and looking at some of the data and information, and also working with local trusted contractors that can assist you in kind of analyzing that data would be helpful.
Would A couple of questions regarding those local trusted contractors. How do we find them? So, because I tell you, we go everywhere and they give us these flyers. How can we find this local trusted contractor? And would they be the ones to give us the information, like how many panels we need, or where would we get that information? Do we need to do the research ourselves first?
Yeah, I would say do the research yourself on our website. At the CPUC website, we do have some fact sheets on what to look for when you're looking into installing solar in your home. So we do have some information, fact sheets that list what you should look for. It also routes you to trusted contractors that are certified. So if you go through our website, we do have some of that information where you can look up information on solar panels, how they work, how to get them installed, and who you can reach out to that has either a contract with the CPUC, not a contract, but that can offer some sort of rebate to install solar panels that comes from CPUC. So on our website would be the best.
Okay, thank you. Because we get information, like I personally, see them all over. So it's good to know that there's, a place, there's a source where we can go, and if they're
Yeah, definitely
certified.
on our website. And then obviously be aware for consumers to just be aware if somebody comes knocking to your home, like with whatever information to share, like please make sure to double check that. Don't trust anybody that comes to your house asking for stuff. Usually, you can look them up if there's something available online, just double check whoever is bringing information to your home regarding solar panels.
Thank you. I know you mentioned, knocking on doors. Last month, our conversation focused on scams, right? Frauds and scams. And one of them, somebody brought up the utilities that scammers come knocking on our doors and saying that they're going to shut off our utilities unless we pay cash or give them a credit card or something. So
Yeah, no, definitely be aware of those, especially during the holidays, or there's threats of somebody shutting off your power, maybe the electricity or gas. That's not something that the utilities do. You usually get a notice, or if, somebody does come, contact your utility provider immediately. Don't give any cash to anybody. Utilities are
Sure.
not out there collecting cash, walking on the streets.
I
So
know.
that's the first sign, don't give cash.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And when we don't know, and of course they prey on the most vulnerable. So, I'm sorry that many times they prey on older adults.
Yeah, it's just doing that extra double checking or taking that extra step to verify where this information is coming from.
Yeah. And obviously, from my line of questions, one of my concerns, of course, is the price, how much utilities charge consumers, right? How much they charge us, and how to ensure that there's transparency, that there's ample notice, that we know what's going to happen and what people can do if they have any questions about that.
Well, obviously, if you have questions about the utilities or how they're billing you, our consumer affairs branch can assist in answering some of those questions. But as a whole, the CPUC does have quarterly reports that the utilities are required to submit. So these reports have to detail their cost, their rates, their billing impacts. They have to also provide information on the customer programs that they provide, such as Care or FARA, like how many people are applying for those, are they being effective? And so these reports kind of help the CPC monitor and evaluate the financial impacts to the ratepayers. So we also hold the public hearings, like I said earlier, with the GRCs. So anytime the utilities come, any type of rate increase that they want to do has to go before the commission. They can't just say like, hey, we're going to add this more to your bill. So there's always that opportunity for individuals to voice their concerns, attend our meetings during our public meetings, but also do those online. And then the CPUC also publishes an annual report that goes to the state legislature that they review as well. Sometimes we do take our mandates from the legislature. So that's also another mechanism where we're able to see, or there's some sort of transparency mechanism for CPUC and the state to look at what the utilities are doing.
And Nora, you listed a number of programs that the CPUC offers that would be a savings to us. Are those the same that local utilities offer, or are they different? How should we start or figure out which ones we qualify for?
So these are the programs that are they're overseen by the CPUC, but they're administered by the utilities. So the first step is, obviously, if you would just want more information about what these programs offer, you can look on our website. But to apply for these programs, you would have to contact your utility directly. Or sometimes some nonprofits or community-based organizations have applications out in the community that they do to help apply, such as your PACE. I know there's an organization in LA called PACE. They sometimes have the bill assistance program applications out in the community, but it all starts with contacting the utility and seeing what type of discounts they may have or programs that you may qualify for.
Perfect. And do the requirements, are they standard? They apply anywhere across the state, or do they vary based on where you live, or how? For example, we just trying to figure out what the requirements would be for each of these programs. Are they pretty much across the board standard?
So they're pretty much across the board. A lot of the programs are income based. And sometimes the utilities may have regional pilots that they may have that they're working on. But most of the programs that I listed are income based.
Okay, so if we're on fixed income, we can contact the utility and see which of these programs we would qualify for.
Correct. And then also, if you look on our website, there's also a tool that kind of lets you compare prices or from the different utilities, and it routes you to kind of like what you would qualify for.
Okay. Um, if we live in a certain area, we're kind of, we have our utility, right? We don't have an option to go to a different company.
Correct.
All right. So we would just check and see what some of these programs would be available from that utility in our area.
Correct. Mhm.
Okay, perfect. But I'm glad, now that I see the variety of programs, because there's a lot, that you listed. It's good that we can contact them and say, what about all these ESA program, the low income one, the LIHEAP, and all of these. And you also mentioned the medical baseline program, right?
Yes.
Um, for the medical baseline program, do you need do you know if we need a letter from our doctor? Is that required? What would be some of the requirements, let's say, for the medical baseline?
Yeah, for the medical baseline, definitely this program is not income based. So if you're on some sort of life support mechanism, say like you need a ventilator or respirator, any type of medical equipment, then this is something that you would apply for. And again, most of the major utilities uh, provide this program. So you would have to call the utility to enroll. And I'm sure a doctor's note or a verification component is included in that.
Okay. Um, Nora, we were talking about all these other, programs and things that could impact our utility use. What about our electric vehicles? Now that California is moving more toward electric vehicles, and charging systems, and would that be the same thing, the utility company help if we need to install any of those EV charging, or how would that work? Do you know?
So I know, like you said, there's a lot of talk about EVs throughout the state, and I know CPUC is looking at some rules and regulations, but also we work close in hand with the Energy Commission. So I know that that's something that we're looking at installing, installing a charger at your home does it will be a cost, right?
Right.
And then we also have to make sure that homes are equipped to be able to take in that extra power that's going to be needed. So definitely that's something that the utilities would have information on where you qualify for installation or if there's some rebates available as well for that. But it's also looking at your home's grid, like are you going to be able to support that? So that's something that we would route through the utility, but also our website and the California Energy Commission also has information about EV chargers and how they work.
Yeah, and because I mean it's wonderful, right, that we're moving more to renewable energy, but at the same time we want to make sure that we're all able to afford it, that we're able to, that our homes are able to, take that additional energy charge, um, you know, all of that, and of course look at all the rebates and programs available.
Yeah, and like you said, and your poll illustrates that electricity is the percentage of bill that everybody's paying that is the highest impact or the highest expense in their households. And so I recently the governor did put out an executive order to mandate or ask the PUC to look at the affordable rates. So in the next couple of months you'll be hearing from the CPUC on what can be done to reduce rates because it came from the governor and that's something that he mandated the CPUC to look into as well as the Energy Commission. So affordability and rates, that's something that's going to be in the public sphere for the next year. So definitely encourage folks to stay on top of it to make sure that your voices are heard and we hear from the consumers.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is so essential, especially for those of us on fixed income.
Yes.
That is significant, where if it's on medication, it's, utilities, but sometimes it's like fluctuates and yeah, it makes it difficult. Um, you were talking about some of these, cost savings or ways for us to, save money. How about some of these rebates? I know we talked about solar panels, but how would we find information regarding rebates, whether it's solar panels or maybe we get some energy efficient appliances? How would we know whether we qualify or what kind of rebates are available?
So definitely the first step, especially if you're looking at appliances, it would be contacting your utility to see if they have any rebates available or if they're, running a program where they're offering X amount of money, or maybe they're replacing it for free with another one. So definitely contact them. And then also our website through the Consumer Affairs branch, we list some of the information there as well. But also look out for any notices in electricity bill, gas bill. Obviously stay in the loop with some of the agencies like CPC, follow us on our website, our Facebook, all those opportunities we usually list on our social media pages. So that's a way to look into some of those rebates that may become available. And I know sometimes, stuff comes up like the program that I mentioned, the HERO program. So that's money from the federal government that's coming to the states. So just keeping on top of kind of the things that are happening and being informed.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned the rebates that from Kira. So that's perfect. And we would check on that through the utility company, see what kind of rebates are available. Would
Yeah,
that
so
be where we
the
start?
HERO, yeah, so the HERO program specifically for heat pumps. So that would be for air and cooling. So it's for single families as well and for multifamilies. So you can start by going to the switch is on, and it was listed in my presentation. So the switch is on, and that kind of prompts you and kind of sees what you would qualify for and also lists the income limits for it.
Perfect. And the same, you mentioned also the self-generation incentive program. So yes, as you were going through the different programs available, I already know that there's going to be interest on some of those. So thank you for sharing that information. And what would be like the best way for people to stay on top of this? Is there how can we stay connected either with a CPUC, or should we just go directly to our utilities and stay on top of them? What what is the best way for us to just kind of stay current on what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, so definitely for information and learning how everything works, the CPUC is a great resource, but also the CPUC is there to take feedback, right? To feedback from consumers, or if you are a participant in X program, we want to hear how that worked out, if there was any things that we can tweak. But obviously, the utilities are your first contact if you're interested in doing some of these programs because they do the legwork, right? They're the ones that have to, figure out the grid, what's going to happen, how they're going to install it. So, I mean, we provide the oversight, make sure that they're doing things correctly, but the utilities have to do the work. And we want to make sure that they're doing it correctly. So, hearing from consumers once they participate in some of these programs is definitely beneficial for us.
Yeah, and believe me, it really does matter when you follow up directly with the utilities when you hear about something. With us, in my house, we heard about a program to reduce our water use. So we contacted the utility, and then they came in and replaced, low flush toilets. So we got those. We got different light bulbs. So they replaced light bulbs. So now it really does matter. I mean, every,
Yeah, and
item,
it
every utility matters.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be all at once. It could be incremental things. Like you can start with, those shower heads, or you can maybe start with your bathrooms with like low water flow toilets or faucets. Because again, it is an expense when you're trying to do all these things, but that's why the utilities offer rebates. And depending on your
Mhm.
income, you may be eligible to get some of these services for free. It's just making that phone call to find out and try to find out about the programs and not be scared or nervous that, if I do these upgrades, because sounds like upgrades, right? Is it going to cost me more money? When in actuality, it might save you money if you do some of these upgrades in the long run.
Right, exactly. Like the same thing we were talking about solar panels, right? It may be an investment, but we need to calculate how that investment will, yield a return over time, and how long is it going to take for us to actually see cost savings.
Correct. And sometimes in some of these programs, maybe the cost savings aren't immediate, but there will be a return.
Okay. And you were mentioning about understanding our billing rates and, compare, how that works. Um, and you mentioned just to be clear, is that we can find that information on the CPUC website so we can see how our rates in our area compare to others or between utility companies?
Yeah, so there's a tool and hold on, let me see. So if you if you search our website and you search California electric rate comparison, this will prompt you to it will generate a tool on our website that allows you to compare electric companies, but also helps you see like what you're paying and what it is. So that's a tool on our website, but also the Consumer Affairs branch can help answer some of those questions as well. Or you can always contact the utility and try to have them send you some information. I'm sure they have information, a breakdown of how they do their billing.
Perfect. And please, if you're watching and you have a question, please submit your questions. Just put it on the comments or on the chat. I don't know if you're watching on the webinar or online. So please just, add your questions. And we have one, Nora, and it says, every agency sets up a yearly budget. When is the best time of the year to make sure that the rebates are still available and that the money is not already spent?
So I know the Cara and Farah, though the Cara, Farah, Light Heap, all those are year-round programs. So again, it depends on how many folks are accessing it, but there should be enough money to go around for those programs. Programs such as like HERA that are maybe federally funded programs, sometimes there are one-time payments. So it just depends when you call a utility or you look up on our website the specific rebate program. It just depends on like the shelf life, right? It might be just be a year. It might just be until funds are exhausted. So it just depends on the situation.
All right, perfect. We have another question. Not sure if you'll be able to answer, but here's a question. Oh, it's about weather stripping, weather strips. And, what are they used for? And do they really help reduce energy waste?
I don't I know I should have looked up
Every
every item on my list, but I think it might be related to, I mean, I can Google it, but it might be related to kind of insulating your home to make sure that your home is protected. There's no leakage, like there's nothing, like your windows are insulated
Yes.
correctly, that there's nothing escaping, right? Like the air staying cool inside. It's
Yeah.
not seeping through cracks in the walls or the doors or something like
Yeah.
that.
Hopefully not cracks through the walls.
I know.
That'd be really bad. But yes, absolutely. The windows, under the doors, absolutely. And I'm sure the weather stripping is important, right? To keep your energy costs down, keep the heat inside. I don't know. Do you know if there's any kind of, financial assistance to make sure that you have some of those? I don't know. Some of those may need to be replaced, especially with older homes. Do you know if there's any kind of
Yeah, so
rebate for
if you
that?
contact the utility and ask about the ESA program, that's the program that kind of helps with some of those weatherization programs. So like making sure that that you have the correct windows, um, they would have those programs. And sometimes local cities have programs like the handy worker program. Local cities have programs like the handy workers program, and they provide a service to residents for free or low cost.
All right. And Nora, some of us, we get our statements, our bills from the utilities, and sometimes they're a little complex. How can we understand what we're receiving in the mail? How can we see what we're being charged for? See, you know, what is the best way to understand what we're getting?
So you could definitely call our consumer affairs branch and they can help you understand the bill. But you can always call the utility. And I know on their websites they have, information on, their different terms of what they're billing and where it goes. They have that information, but our consumer affairs branch also has that information for the consumers. And I shared the website and phone numbers on our contact list on the slide with our contact information.
Yeah, because I know also that they show how like our utility usage has gone up or down. And so they do track usage.
Yeah, and in fact, actually, if look on if if you have internet access or if you can look at your bill online, I know Southern California Edison has a budget assistance tool.
Mhm.
So they will send you notifications and say like, oh, you're using way too much energy, or hey, your low is good, keep it up. Because I sign up for that. So it tells me when I'm using a lot of energy. So I think having something like that helps you kind of track your usage, but also find out if maybe there's a leak somewhere or something's not going right. So definitely some of those utilities, water companies or electricity companies, even the gas bills have some sort of budget tracking tools that will send you automated messages directly to your inbox to kind of keep track. But you can also look it up online, like your specific account.
Yeah, we have that set up, and it was interesting because they contacted us saying
Mhm.
something's up with your water use, and sure enough, there was a water leak under the house that we weren't aware of. And it was immediately caught before it became a huge problem. But I mean, I was so happy that they tracked it because we're so good about, right, saving water and
Yeah.
just, and it was painful to know that we're just wasting that water. Good. Are there any programs available for energy efficient window replacements? Do you know any?
I have not seen anything come up on the pipeline regarding Windows. But again, that's something that maybe we can look at through the utilities, through the ISA program. I mean, sometimes there's, discretionary money may be available, or maybe they have a special program that they're doing. But I would say contact the utility and find out if there's anything there. Or sometimes, like I said earlier, the cities may have some programs that they're funding. I would say look there too at the city level or
Okay.
county.
Yeah. And Nora, I know you mentioned in your presentation that, you know, I mean, you take on the utilities, you make sure that, the rates are fair. And if they want to, do any rate increases, there's a, process for transparency and communication. What if us as consumers, what if we get a bill that we feel we've been either overcharged or there's an error in that statement? What can we do about that?
Well, definitely the first thing is to contact the utility and try to resolve it with them. Try to have them explain to you why your bill is so high. Or maybe, like you said, there's a leak that you weren't aware of. Maybe you weren't monitoring, your usage, or there, like I said, there's a leak or there's something going on. But the utility should be able to tell you why your bill is so high, or like why the discrepancy, right? If that doesn't solve your problem, then you can reach out to the Consumer Affairs branch at the PUC, and they will work with you and the utility to resolve it. If that doesn't happen, you can actually file a formal complaint against the utility for obviously not providing the service that you require, right? And so that leaves the utility subject to fines or citations from the CPUC, especially if they're at fault.
Okay. If
So it would
we,
require an
oh,
investigation.
and is there an opportunity for us to, if this has been consistent, let's say, if all of a sudden, we realize, oh my God, I've been overcharged for all this amount, is there an opportunity for us to recover some of those, you know, that money that we've
I mean,
paid?
yeah, if it's a resolution, then obviously it's something that the Consumer Affairs branch is going to investigate. And if the utility is at fault, then obviously that money should be returned to you. I don't think it gets lost and just stays at the utility.
Yeah, or they say, well, can
That
you,
makes no sense. Yeah.
store credit? Right? All right, no, thank you. Um, we've been talking a lot about, people who own their own homes. Um, are there any programs or recommendations for renters on how they can reduce their utility bills?
So like I said earlier, one of the programs that is available to renters is the let me look it up real quick. It's the energy savings multi family energy savings. I know that that program is available to renters, but renters who have, say, their own meter, it's like some apartments, they have their own meter, they're not shared meters. If you have your own meter, most renters qualify for the CARE program or the FARA program. So if you have your own meter, that's something that they would qualify for. But then also, property owners qualify for some of these weatherization programs, they can, sign up for that as well as some of the rebates for heat pumps. And with the HERA program, actually, landlords qualify for things like, efficient refrigerators, stoves that would go in some of these units that are available to renters.
Right. And of those programs that you mentioned in terms of, all of these rebate programs and, cost reduction, not all of them are income based, correct? Some of them, are you going to say something?
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, I was just wondering, are they all income based or are they, anybody based on your, usage or your need?
So the majority of them are income based, like Care and FARA, but medical baseline is based on need. Some of the programs say you need assistance with paying your bill. Those aren't necessarily income based. The utilities can put you on a payment plan to help kind of pay your bill down. Some of the weatherization programs, most of those are income based, but they're also low cost options. So if you don't meet the income guidelines, you might have to pay a small fee. Or there are programs that are maybe at reduced cost.
Okay, perfect. And I know you shared a lot of information regarding these programs. Do you mind putting the slide up just, quickly just to remind people of some of these programs? And like I mentioned before, this is being recorded, so you can watch the recording later and review anything that you missed. But just in case, here are a
Yeah,
few
let
of
me
the
do a quick
programs.
share and then it'll be list also the utilities that correspond to that. So there you go. So definitely Care, FARA, ESA are the most popular ones. LIHEAP, Medical Baseline, California Lifeline for telephone service. The water companies have programs. This is solar program for multifamily, the SGIP, which is battery storage, and then the multifamily energy savings program, which is available to landlords and renters.
Perfect.
But again, the CPUC, we have lofty goals from the state of California to meet our, to electrify, but also reduce our usage. So, just keep an eye on the things that we're working on. Obviously, we always try to ensure that we are providing the best service for our consumers. So just, stay in the loop with some of the proceedings that are happening at the CPUC that are addressing a lot of these issues, especially
Yeah.
when we're moving towards electrification and, you know, more reliability.
Exactly. Yes, we do believe in climate change. We do believe in energy savings in California. And so there's a lot of programs available for us. Nora, do you have any additional information, any, additional tips for us as, we get ready to wrap up our conversation?
Well, I think I kind of shared a lot of information, and so I encourage you to visit our website. Your voice matters, and we definitely want to hear from all of you. We want to make sure that the decisions that the commission makes and reflect the wants and needs of of Californians in the state. Again, you can make comments by going to our public hearings or meetings, or also accessing our docket card. You can send us letters. You can email the commissioners. You can email me or some of my other contacts just to get information or voice any concerns. We want to hear the good and the bad to make
And
informed
he,
decisions.
And and with the thought of hearing from people, somebody's asking for you to please put up the slide again with the web contacts.
Yes, let me
Yeah, and you can just do a screen grab if you don't want to keep any
uh
of that
oh, there you
information.
go. So this is the important websites that you should be looking at. And then I'll leave it up for a couple minutes. And then let me share I'm also going to share our local government liaison slide. And then this kind of lists my information as well. So if you have any questions that maybe you thought about after this presentation, you can always email me or email my colleagues. So we all cover the entire state. So I focus on the southern. I'm based out of LA. So definitely, if you're LA, please feel free to reach out. But any of us on this list can assist you with any question that you may have or kind of guide you to where you can find the information that you need.
Would you mind putting the other slide back, the previous one?
Yeah. The website,
Yes, please.
let me go back. There you go. So definitely, like I said, the docket card, that's where you can comment on any proceedings. The daily calendar will list all the upcoming meetings from the commission. And these meetings, you can actually join them online or on phone or via phone or in person. And then again, our CPUC website is here. And then the public advisor's office can also assist with a lot of the procedural issues with the CPC to help you understand how everything works and how to be an active participant.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nora.
Okay,
We
so do you want me to
appreciate.
stop sharing? Are you good?
Yeah, no, we're
Okay.
good. We're good.
Yeah, but definitely, you guys have, I shared my contact information. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer after this call.
Yeah, perfect. And like I mentioned, we always record these conversations. So you're welcome to, in a week or so, be able to see this recording. But along with the CPUC, which you can find at cpuc.ca.gov, right? You can also access resources with AARP. So AARP, of course, has a ton of resources and information on energy savings. And you can visit aarp.org/power your savings. So aarp.org/power your savings. And you can access a lot of information there on just how to reduce your utility costs. And lots more. And just know that also that I mentioned that AARP is always here to help you grow and keep your money. So please, I'm going to take a minute to invite you to our next Let's Talk Dinero chats. These chats, we bring experts like Nora today to help us, talk about anything regarding money and, how to grow it, how to keep it. For example, asset protection. We talked about scams the last time, debt management, caregiving costs, retirement planning, entrepreneurship, and much more. And please be sure to join us on Monday, December the 16th at 4 p.m. for our next Let's Talk Dinero with AARP for a conversation on estate planning, critical as we close out the year. So please, December 16th, 4 p.m., we'll be talking about estate planning and our next Let's Talk Dinero with AARP conversation. And any of the videos, any conversation that you've missed, they are available at aarp.org/Let's Talk Dinero. So we've had many conversations. You can access those videos, including this one. Give it a few days or a week or so, but it'll be up. So you'll be able to access, these videos. So any chat that you missed, don't worry, it's up. Nora, I cannot thank you enough for the valuable information. Seriously, with utilities and costs, that is so important to us. And just thank you so much for all the information and all the resources that you shared. Mil gracias. And I want to thank everyone joining us. Thank you so much for taking time away from your Thanksgiving preparations for joining us. And obviously, we have so much to be grateful for, including having incredible resources like Nora with us. Thank you all for joining us and hope to see you again on Monday, December the 16th, 4 p.m. at the next Let's Talk Dinero with AARP. Muchísimas
Thank you.
gracias. Gracias,
Thank
Nora.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having